You're listening to the Cat Breeder Sensei Says podcast. I'm your show host, April Catito, and in this episode, I'm going to be talking about the importance of a professional website for your cattery. There's a lot of you out there that don't even have a website, and I see you saying, I'm working on it, it's being built, I'm thinking about it, I know I need to get it. Yes, you do, and we're going to talk about why right after this message.
Do you want to learn how to become a successful breeder of pedigree cats? Now you can. For the first time ever, enroll in an online training course that takes you step by step through everything you need to know to get on the right track. Visit catbreedersensei.com to sign up today and use code podcast21 to get $25 off.
I want you to just think about any time that you are researching buying a product or buying anything, especially something of value. Where do you go first? Do you go to Facebook? Do you go to Instagram? Do you go to TikTok? The chances are you probably don't. You probably go straight to Google and you enter a search term. Now I'm talking about anytime you want to buy anything, especially something of value. Something that's not an impulse buy. You want to look at someone's website that is offering this product and you want to read about them. And you want to watch some videos and you want to check out some reviews. Well, that is no different for someone who is looking to buy a pedigree kitten. So having a professional website is crucial for your business. So this will be a little longer podcast than I normally do because there's a lot to go over about having a professional website for your cattery. And I am a firm and adamant believer and promoter of having a website as the main source of content for your cattery. So some of the things I'm going to be talking about is the role of your website, how it compares to social media, showcasing your kittens on your website, essential information that you should include on your website. What about SEO and visibility? How do you even get someone to look at your website? Using your website to build a mailing list, professionalism and branding, selling kittens directly from your website. These are the things we're going to talk about in this episode. I don't think I'm alone when I say that I hate Facebook and I really don't like being on that social media platform. There's still a few things that I go there for, one being our No Judgment Zone Facebook group, the cat breeder community that we've created and maintain and monitor that just has no negativity at all. We don't allow it. We kick the cat hags out of our group. So I do like Facebook for that reason. I like going into that group and reading the feeds and helping when I can. And I also like Facebook Marketplace. So I like to look for, I'm a thrifter, so I like to look for certain items and even sell items on Facebook Marketplace. But when it comes to like using a Facebook page to market my cattery, I don't do that anymore. I abandoned that idea, and I have an entire little training session about why I did that. It's called Why I Ditched Facebook Marketing for Good and What's Working Best Now. And you can listen to that whole event on our website, catbreedersensei.com. Just go to the free training tab at the top and you can find that there. So having a website really is a better first impression, in my opinion. Now, this is totally opinion. It just presents a more professional appearance than being on social media and trying to sell kittens. When you have a well-designed website and one that is presented to the visitors in a clean, organized, and professional manner, it just establishes credibility instantly with potential buyers. Now, if we compare that to, let's say, Facebook, which is probably one of the most common methods or platforms that I see breeders using to sell their kittens, it's kind of all the same. Like Facebook posts are all the same. You get a picture of a kitten, you might get a little bit of text, and then people engage with you and they comment, and there's not really anything else to know about the poster unless you go to their page, and even then everybody looks the same. There's no way to stand out or be different on Facebook as a Cattery. Everybody looks the same, and quite frankly, everybody is kind of equal. So while I do think having a social media presence is important, I think that having a professional website is more trustworthy than just being on social media alone. So the role of your website is, of course, to, put out all of your beliefs and your practices and explain to the visitors who you are and about your kittens and your cattery, and let them take the time to consume this information about you while they're on your website. That is something that really cannot be done on social media. But the highlight of your website is going to be showcasing your kittens. It is really important to use high quality images and videos of kittens on your website. So yeah, sometimes point and shoot with your smartphone can take and capture a really good image, but if you put a little bit more thought, just level it up a little bit and put some thought into taking good pictures of your kittens and your breeding cats and use them on your website, it really makes a huge difference to the visitors. You can set up profiles on your website, especially with WordPress. That's the website platform that I use in my Cattery. And when we build websites for other breeders, we also get them involved in WordPress and learning how to use that platform, because it's just very versatile and can do basically anything that you want it to. But you can create profiles for each of your kittens as well as your queens and your toms that highlight photographs, videos, health information, their pedigree, personality traits, all of these things which are very important to the buyers of your kittens. So if each kitten has its own profile, then your buyer has somewhere to go to take the time to learn about your kitten and watch it grow. So you can have, watch me grow photos, starting from even birth if you want, all the way up into they're ready to go home, and even after that. So I like to put photos of kittens that I get from the owners, after they've gone home, and let's say they're 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year old. I like to put them on their profile pages, so I keep those updated so people can see what the kittens look like. Now, your contact page is a big part of your website as well, because if people are interested in your kittens, then of course they're going to want to know how to contact you and what steps to do next. Like, how do they go about reserving one of your kittens? And you can actually put your entire adoption process on your website and, make clickable links to it on each kitten page, so that if someone is interested, you can save yourself the time, the effort, the energy of explaining how everything works. And some of us have more complex or more steps to get through as far as the adoption process goes than others. And it's nice to be able to explain all of that on a website without having to type it out every time someone inquires through Messenger or, chat. So give people multiple ways to contact you on your contact page. So it can be contact you through a form on your website. You can have links to contact you through Facebook Messenger or through Instagram Messenger. You can have a phone number where they can call you or send a text message, or just put your email address. So, have several different ways for someone to be able to contact you, and let them choose the method that works the best for them. I don't think your About Me page can ever be too long. I think people are interested in knowing who the breeder is and a little background information and why you got started in breeding cats, and just what your beliefs are as a breeder and how you run your cattery. Maybe include some family information and, your love for cats, and just, information about you. It's seldom that I see a cattery page where someone has gone into depth and is talking about themselves and who they are. Who is the face behind these kittens? Who is the person running this cattery? Like, who ultimately, who's producing these babies? And people like to know that. So the About Me or the About Us page is excellent place to, do videos and actually record yourself talking so that people can put a face to a name. That's something else that I don't see a lot of, and I do a lot of encouraging breeders to do that, is like, show your face. This is the internet, and this is kind of a very personable business. People want to get to know their breeder. And it's hard to do that without having a face to go with this Cattery name or these kittens. So don't be afraid to turn your camera on and talk to your audience, especially if you're using the internet as your primary source of selling your kittens and finding buyers. Like, people want to know who you are. And a great way to demonstrate that is by doing videos and talking directly to your audience. It will feel a little weird at first when you first turn the camera on and start recording yourself, but trust me, as time goes on, you'll get used to it and it won't bother you at all. So just get over the awkward phase where you don't like talking to the camera because it feels weird. Everybody has to go through this transition phase where they get over the weird feeling of being on camera, and then, it'll just come as second nature. You can just turn the camera on and start talking. Another page you should have on your professional Cattery website is an FAQ section. And this is where you can answer all of those questions, all of those frequently asked questions that you see over and over and over, and you know what they are. But if you don't, for example, it's going to be, how much are your kittens? Do you have any available? How do I go about getting one? Do you have a waiting list? How do I get on your waiting list? What is your deposit? All of these questions that are, asked over and over again can be, explained very easy and simply and organized in a nice fashion on an FAQ page on your website. Just address the buyer's concerns and questions that you see the most often. So how do you get people on your website? It's phase one is just getting the website built and getting it hosted and making it live. But then it's not automatic. Like, people don't automatically come to your website. Sure, you can post links on social media and post it in your bio, and you'll get some visitors that way. And that's great. That's, you can redirect everybody to the website so they have a place to get the information. But what about capturing the traffic from Google? Remember, people are researching products or things that they want to buy, not by social media, but by going to Google. So how do you get in front of them through SEO? You've probably heard the acronym SEO. It stands for Search Engine Optimization, and it's a technique or method that is used on your website to help you rank in Google, to help you be more visible to people who are searching for your breed of kitten and looking for information about your kittens. If your website is optimized for search engine traffic, then it's going to help your Cattery appear more in search results and ultimately drive more organic traffic to your website. Organic traffic is free traffic. It is the traffic that comes from people doing the searches on Google, or also Yahoo or Bing, or some of these other search engines. So having a website isn't enough. If you really want to use your website as a lead generation tool, you have to use search engine optimization. And you can certainly, look up YouTube videos and courses and things on how to do SEO on your website. And I also teach a 10-week personal training course. It's, a very small coaching group, a maximum of 5 people at a time, and teach you specifically how to optimize your website to get organic traffic from Google. You can get information about that on our website as well. Remember, it's catbreedersensei.com. You can just look for the Elite Cattery SEO coaching program, and all the information is there. One of my favorite things about having a professional website for my Cattery is the ability to build a mailing list. I think that this just single-handedly gives me the edge over competition. I don't think anybody does this. It's pretty crazy. Yes, some people have waiting lists, but they'll take like 20 people at a time or whatever and then turn everybody else away. And I do things a little much different than that. I collect full applications on people who are interested in my kittens, and that is building a mailing list for me. It's building an email list of people who are interested specifically in my kittens. And I know I don't have enough kittens for everybody, and that's fine. I want way more people on my list than I have kittens, because that is the supply and demand theory. So you can actually start building a mailing list through applications, or just people subscribing to get updates, like, free guides or free newsletters, or just to get information when kittens are born, upcoming delivery news. So all kinds of ways to start building a mailing list and have this massive amount of people who desire one of your kittens and can be notified when kittens are available. And you can set up your business several different ways on how to use that mailing list. But it's super important for you to start collecting information, primarily names and email addresses of people who are interested in your kittens. Like, quit turning people away. Keep them on a list, and they'll wait. People will wait on the right kitten and the right breeder. So never turn somebody away that is interested in a kitten. Get their name, email address, capture that information from every single person. Our Cat Breeder Blueprint course actually outlines and lays out a plan on how to do that specifically. But you can also kind of just use some common sense on mailing list building software and start building a mailing list for your cattery. If it's important, number one is having a website, and then number two is being seen, being able for people to find your website, and then right in number three is capturing leads and building a mailing list from people who are visiting that website. Now, what about branding for your cattery or for your business? It actually establishes some professionalism. And what branding is using consistent colors, fonts, and messaging across your website. It builds a very strong brand identity. It makes you recognizable in every arena, on every platform. So be sure to use branding and, choose your color palette and use it. Let's say you choose a color palette of 4 colors that you like that all work together nicely, and you use them throughout the design of your website. That's branding for your cattery. Like, these are the colors that you have chosen. Same goes for font. You use them together, most likely. When you create an image to use on your social media platform, or you create a video, or you create another account somewhere, you should use the same colors and fonts and messaging on your social media accounts as well. That way, if somebody is on social and they navigate to your website, you have a consistent message and you have consistent branding, and you become identifiable across the internet. Okay, so what about domain names? Let me break this down for you. There's 2 different ways you can do domain names. One is to have a free website, let's say like WordPress. You can actually go to wordpress.com and create a website and build your own website for free. They give you a domain name. Let's just say your cattery name is Awesome Raggies. Most likely you would choose your domain name to be awesomeraggies.wordpress.com. And that would be the web address that people would land on whenever they find your website. So what you might not know about free websites is that you don't own that website. Wherever you have this website hosted, whether it's Wix or WordPress, if it's one of the free domains, then you actually don't own it. Now, the other option is to actually own the asset, own your own piece of real estate on the internet. And that happens through the purchase of your own domain name. So you would then go by awesomeraggies.com instead of having a subdomain of another platform. So you would go purchase awesomeraggies.com from a web registrar. There's hundreds of them, if not thousands, like GoDaddy.com is one of the most popular. And you just go by your domain name. They're about $13 per year to own a domain name. And then once you have a domain name, you are going to need a web host. So that is where the servers actually deliver the website to the website visitors. GoDaddy has hosting, but we actually recommend a few other companies like SiteGround or InMotion Hosting, and we'll put the link to them in our blog post on the website if you want the information there. So the web host is actually who hosts your real estate. So it's like, let's say, land for your house. Weird analogy, but and you have to have a web host in order to serve your website up to the public. So the cost of a web hosting service is it depends. It's very inexpensive, but it depends on the amount of web traffic that you get and memory and resources. And if you have a dedicated server or a shared server, and shared servers are perfectly fine. But in general, you can get a web host for a WordPress website for about $3 to $10 a month. So also very inexpensive to have a web host. So, the cost of owning your own website and having your own asset that you own, control, and manage yourself, the cost is not an issue. It's, developing it and publishing it and getting it built and designed that could be the challenge for some people. But, there's a learning curve to everything new. So if you're going to really be a business and have a Cattery presence online, then take the time to learn how to manage a website. It's not hard once you learn it. If Cat Breeder Sensei designs and builds your website for you, we actually have tutorial videos that we give you to teach you how to edit and maintain your website once we're done with the design. So, it could be that you just maybe you're crippled by design and can't put it all together in your head, and it could be overwhelming, and we totally get that because it's a lot. It's a lot to think about how to lay everything out and get all the pages connected. So we can do that for you. You can get information on our website, like I said, catbreedersensei.com, about our website design. Or you can certainly learn how to do it yourself, or take the tutorial videos once we're done with the website design. But either way, a subdomain is not as beneficial as owning your own asset, having your own piece of real estate on the internet. And that would be you going to buy your own domain name and choosing a web host who manages the server for your website. Most of the web host companies are very user-friendly, so they're very customer-oriented, and they understand that not everybody understands how web hosts and servers work, and they have live chat on their website, and they'll really help you. They're very helpful at helping you get things done that you need done to make sure your website is up and running. If we build your website, we actually take care of all of that stuff for you, all the little details. Selling kittens from your website directly. Let's talk about this idea. I'm not tooting my own horn over here, toot toot, but I think I was literally the first person to ever directly sell kittens from my website. I don't know if it was some kind of taboo or fear or, being attacked online. I'm not real sure, and I could be wrong. I just know, of looking at least the Maine Coon breeders, like nobody did that. Nobody offered the idea of reserving a kitten on their website. So it's definitely something that makes the process streamlined. It makes it easy. It makes it simple. You can have guidelines in place for how you handle payments, and it's all done and managed through your website, which also is very professional. In addition to just selling your kittens on your website, which is not, it's not freakish. I mean, if you're using the internet to market your kittens, then you should ultimately be able to reserve your kitten online on your website. You can also entertain the idea of selling other e-commerce products like accessories or other services, maybe directly from your website. So, you're not limited to just offering the ability to reserve kittens online, but you can also sell other things that people may need and just make a little extra income from that. You can look into drop shipping or wholesale products and things like that. So, accepting payments for your kittens is something that is a big conversation online. Like, what type of payment should you accept for kittens? And, credit cards are probably the least favorite because they can be charged back. It can be disputed, and people can get their money back. And that does happen. I've had it happen to me one time, and that was actually for the entire kitten that back when I accepted credit cards through my website for the entire payment. But I've changed things, and you can also entertain this idea. I only accept deposits for the kittens on my website, and after that, you can't pay with credit or debit card. It has to be another method that cannot be reversed. So either, Cash App or Venmo or Zelle or something like that. So it kind of eliminates the PayPal and the checks and things like that if you accept your deposits online. I always like to weigh out pros and cons with everything. I'm a pro and con type of person, and the list of pros or advantages of having a professional website for your cattery, it's very long. There are so many, numerous reasons to have a website for your cattery. And, there's really only one con or one disadvantage. And I don't really like to call it that. It just kind of comes with the territory. And that is that you have to maintain it. You have to keep it updated. You have to learn how to use it. But once you do that, it kind of becomes second nature, kind of like posting on social media. It just becomes a new habit. And it becomes a new part of your system, a new part of your day, a new part of your process. And you don't have to update your website every day like you do social media. So there's a big requirement and demand of your time to update on social media. If you want to stay in front of your audience, you just constantly have to be posting. And it's not like that with your website. You have static and dynamic information on your website, and some of it stays there forever. It's evergreen. And then you have the information that changes and gets updated, and that's your kittens and your litters and things like that. So you definitely don't have to go in there every single day and update your website, only when you have some new news or some new kittens to share. So definitely another advantage of using a website over social media is less time that you have to spend updating your website. So if I haven't convinced you yet that you need a professional website for your cattery, I probably never will. I've laid out, all of the reasons and benefits of having one. So if you have one, congratulations. I'm proud of you. And if you don't, then now is the time to consider getting one. Don't be overwhelmed by the build or the design. Just invest in your cattery, invest in yourself, invest in your future, and pay somebody to do the website for you. If not us, then somebody else. It doesn't have to be us. We're just familiar with catteries and verbiage and all the things that need to be on your cattery website that you don't have to try to explain to someone else. So get yourself a website. Get yourself an online presence. Own a piece of real estate online by owning a website for your cattery. I do want to thank you for tuning in and listening to all of this information that was laid out for you today about having a website. Thank you very much for being a listener of the Cat Breeder Sensei Says podcast. We do appreciate you very much. Do us a favor and share our podcast with your friends or out there on social media, and let other breeders know that we're here for them, and we offer this educational community where breeders can continue to grow either with their cattery or with themselves, and preferentially both. You can also do us a huge favor. Subscribe to our podcast so that you get a notification the next time we release an episode, and leave us a review on the platform where you listen to our show so that we know how we're doing and how we can improve in the future. Thanks again for listening, and you guys make good choices out there. We'll see you next time.